All right, one of my gracious viewers gave this to me some time ago, and unfortunately I forgot who it was, so excuse me, but yeah, thanks a lot. It is a transceiver. I think it's a HF transceiver in, I'm not sure which bands, I don't remember which bands it operates on, but it looks pretty cool. It has it's a Arduino-based machine, and it has the full filter complement. It has a really nice 12 megahertz IF with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 crystals. So really nice selectivity for the IF. Then it has switchable band paths for the different bands. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess it's a 4-band radio. And what else does it have? Well, I can tell you what it doesn't have. It doesn't have a case. So I think this is the way it comes from the factory, and it's up to you to put a case on it. So it's a kit, but really it's just putting on a bunch of connectors and putting it in a box, and maybe putting a 12-volt power supply with it. If I remember right, it's a 10-watt radio, which is pretty healthy. It's got some big MOSFETs back here. So I was measuring it. It's about 6 inches by 6 inches by maybe about 3 inches, and so I went to the store today to try to find a box for it. I don't know if you've been shopping for boxes, but for forever, boxes have just been expensive. I mean, they're one of the major costs in doing a project at home. So I did find one. I'll show that to you. The other thing I just noticed it. The other thing I did was when I got the machine or the circuit boards. There's these two boards here piggyback together, and then there's a third board that's the Arduino Nano that piggybacks. So there's 3 piggyback boards here, and they go into a edge connector on the board, and there's nothing really hold it rigid. But somebody had designed a bracket, a 3D printed bracket, so I downloaded that file and printed that out, and I printed that out months ago. I got this months and months ago. And I did print out a little bracket here that holds these at a right angle nice and stiff. So that's all ready to go. So I just need a box for it. So yeah, let me, so I didn't even mention what this thing is, and I'm not quite sure what it is either. It is a Ubitix Micro BITX. So, and it has a Radino, which is the Arduino part of it, radio Arduino. Yeah, so, but it's all loaded up, so there's no soldering required or anything. You just put it in a box. But because I have my new spectrum analyzer, I thought this would be a great thing to get going, and then we can measure its performance on a spectrum analyzer. So, in case somebody actually cares about that stuff. So I tidied up the cables with some lacing just to make it more manageable. Yeah, so I wanted a box, and like I said, if you shop for boxes, they're quite expensive. So a box this size, I need about a 8 by 8 by 4 box or something like that. And the box was going to cost me like $35 or something for the dumb box. So let me rearrange the camera and show you what I got. So over in the used section, they had this thing, which was $20 as is, and it's a nice big case, nice big metal case. So you don't want a plastic case for radios, you want a metal case for radios. So this is a nice big metal one, and here is the board. So it's I think a pretty good fit. It's a little bit tall, but I don't mind that a bit. And then because it's wide, I can put a power supply over to the side, so I can have it all in one box. So that seems like it's a pretty good deal. So I thought, okay, for $20, it's much, much cheaper than buying a new box, and maybe there's stuff inside I can use. So this is obviously homemade, or company made. Somebody needed it at their corporation. It is a 150 to 300 volt pulsar. Frequency adjust, pulse width adjust, and voltage adjust from 150 to 300 volts. So well, that's pretty cool. Let's see, 160. Oh, and the frequency goes from 160 hertz to 10 kilohertz. nice graphics on the front panel. And the pulse width goes from 0.1 microseconds to 2 microseconds. So yeah, let's, I think this is the video for the day, is to figure out what is this thing? And do we want to play with it before we destroy it? What kind of parts we can salvage out of it and stuff. So yeah, let's open this thing up and see what there is to see. The back is just the power cord coming out of a hole. So yeah, let's look in. All right, I've got the screws out. Let's take the top off. Should just lift off. There we go. Whoa, a lot of stuff inside. All right. Wow, look at this stuff. All kinds of stuff. Wow. Okay, score. Yeah, let's look at this one by one here. So the power comes in. There's a fuse, safety third. There is a little thing here. So that looks like there's a little power supply out of a wall wart, like repurposed. And that's just kind of hot melted onto the bottom there. And so there's some wires that come out here. So it's probably 5 volts that powers up this board. Then the input comes to this big transformer here. And then there's another transformer. Oh no, this is a whole power supply. So yeah, let's take a look at that. And then there's this big board here. And look at this capacitor. Look, I've never seen a capacitor a film capacitor that big. It is 10 at 400 volts. Woo! That is a monster. Yeah, so if you're going to output pulses, that's where the energy comes out of. Whoa, that's a beauty. Let's see, it says danger high voltage on this board. Yeah, I don't know where that word came from. Interesting. All right, let's look on the other side here. That was a whole... See, this is one of those Power One chassis power supplies. So maybe it's 12 volts, so we can use it for our radio. That'd be super cool. We'll see what kind of voltage this thing outputs. It's over here. This is the power out here. Like I said, I don't know what voltage yet. And then very high quality components in the front. The resistors and stuff. Yeah, this thing is pretty cool. Now, do I want to be around 300 volts pulsing on the front panel? Yeah, probably not. I don't know if I'll turn it on. But we will be taking a look at all of these things here. Wow, this is really weird. So this unit here is also kind of a store-bought. No, I wouldn't call it store-bought. I would call it maybe an engineering prototype of something or repurposing of something. It's got some big transistors here, TO3 transistors snuck in the back. I know they're hard to see. They're way down in there. There is a board here with some precision capacitor. That's probably for the timing. The pulse width maybe here. Yikes. Yeah, I think I don't want to turn this thing on. I don't know much about it. It's got lethal voltages in it, and even if it did work, I wouldn't have any use for it. So, sorry guys, but I'm just going to start taking this thing apart. It's interesting that it has this guy. Oh, you know what this guy is? I bet you he's an isolation transformer. So to make this thing safe, they put it in an isolation transformer before the power supply. Interesting. Well, that's worth some money there. A nice isolation transformer. Yeah, let's bunch of screws on the bottom. Yeah, let's start taking things apart, and we'll see how this thing was construction. We will destruct it. See, this is the little power supply for this board, which is maybe just some more regulation for different voltages. That's just soldered in there. This is all hand wired. This board is all hand wired. Yeah, interesting. Very, very interesting. Pull this apart, take all the connectors apart. All right, let's see what we can see. And over here we got ground connection here. What is this? This is the front panel. This is adjustment here. So this is voltage adjust to the front panel. This is the 0 volts. This is the 0 something. So 0 something. This might not be 0 300. So yeah, let's doesn't matter. I will just move this now. And our output is on a connector. Okay, there we go. All right, these were actually quite popular back in the day. They're probably popular. I think they're probably still in business, but a lot of people don't use linear supplies anymore. But this is an output, 200 volts DC at 0.12 amps. So that's an interesting supply. And obviously they've hacked into it right here. That's the voltage adjust. So it may be that this does output, since it's 200, it may output 150 to 300. Oh, sorry. It might have that wide of a tuning range on this particular guy. So he will not be the power supply for our radio because it only needs 12 volts. I think it will smoke it if we make it go too big. Interesting. So yeah, that might be very valuable for some other project. Well, definitely worth 20 bucks right there. Yeah, for 180 volt operation, move end wire A to AT on transformer and adjust R17, which is probably, oh, there's the adjust right there. R17, yeah, R17 was relocated to the front panel. Yeah. All right. Now this says AC input. All right. Anyway, there we go. That's definitely a find there. Let's take out these screws here. All right. So yeah, this is our isolation transformer. So we will snip it away from where it is. And a bunch of wire over there. We'll just snip that off. Triad. 95, 105, and 125. Common 115, 135. 115, 95 common. That's kind of an odd thing. Let's see here. auto transformer. So this transformer allows you to input 95 volts to 135 volts, and it gives you a 115 output. So I think it is not a variac of isolation transformer. It is not an isolation transformer. It is a step up or step down, depending on how you want to wire the thing. So yeah, that's pretty strange. I'll have to look up more specs on that thing. It is heavy. How many VA is it? It is 150 VA. So 10 amps, a little more than 10 amps, 12 amps. Yeah, it's pretty heavy duty. All right, so that's a good find. And then we got this really weird board here in the middle. Let's see if we can't extract him. He is on nylon screws. That makes you wonder about voltages. Just a cautionary note to viewers. You never know how with it. I will tell you. In general, on my YouTube channel, I try to avoid videos that require high voltage stuff. Alright, what is this? This is some weird connector that's been hot melted to the front panel. Okay. And that is the output. Alright. And this is the receive. I don't know. Receiver voltage? I don't know. And then we have a bunch of wires that are going to the pulse width. And yeah, that goes to this board here, which we don't have a schematic for. We will never have a schematic for. We don't care about a schematic. We're just going to snip it off. All right, there we go. Now I can show it on camera. All right. All right, let me change the camera angle here. Take a look. All right, look at this thing. I bet that's a $20 capacitor right there. Yeah, 10 microfarads at 400 volts DC, and it's a thin film. It's just wild. Okay, so there's this weird board in here, which I have no idea where that came from. Maybe if we take this card off, we can see some more writing on it. But it looks like it's been sawn out of. It's not a. It's a raw edge. They painted it to. I don't know why they painted it, but it's been cut out of another piece of equipment because some of the traces go off to Never Never Land. So, yeah, this was taken out of something. Very, very interesting. There's this weird hand-wired card over here. Let's see if I can get that off of there. And what is it? It's a LM331, 74LS221, and a 74S09. And some adjustments. Yeah, pretty weird. Let's, Oh, and there's, yeah, this is a completely hand-wired board. Where did they find this thing? And what does it do? Yeah, what does it do? Look at these. Oh, wow. Look at these big giant FETs. IRF 450s. 2 of them. Take that off. Yeah, look at those. They're 20 bucks each probably. Yeah, that's a good score. Danger high voltage. Yeah, so these are probably the pulsers. And this was taken out of some piece of equipment that pulsed things, and they just repurposed it, I guess. I wonder what these little guys are. These are. They're either isolation transformers or multi-channel. My guess is they're probably isolation transformers. Yeah, this thing here has adjustment, 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 adjustment. Let's pull him out of there so I can take a better look at him. This video is too long. Too long. I don't know. I always tell my wife, you know, why are you doing all those YouTube videos? And I says, well, I wouldn't do anything different than what I'm already doing. It's just I have to turn the camera on. Otherwise, I'd be doing the exact same stuff. I'd be trying to rip things apart, figure out how they work, build stuff. And yeah, there's our 30 gauge wiring on the back. Some people are real popular for that stuff. I was never a fan of it. What are these guys? 317 adjustable regulator, another 317. So there's two 317. So 2 adjustments for voltages, and then it does some stuff. So I don't know what that's doing. So anyway, yeah, let's call this video quits. The only other thing was this really hilarious power supply here for 5 volts. like I said, it looks like it's a disassembled wall wart. And then here are all the high grade potentiometers and switches and stuff, and some connectors just kind of hot melted onto the front. So it's kind of fun. Anyway, yeah, we'll call it quits for this video and move on. Built by Dennis Rasmussen. Shout out to Dennis. If you're watching, anybody knows Dennis? It was built on 1988. That says 88. Yeah. He's got his own little tags. That's pretty cool. I never had any little tags. An official danger high voltage. All right. Thanks, Dennis.